Every morning, before the noise of the world reaches your ears, there exists a sacred moment, a moment where your mind is pure, your spirit is listening, and your power awaits your command. Most people waste this hour. They rise with fear, scroll through distractions, and surrender their day before it has even begun. But you are different. You were born to remember who you are before the world tells you who to be. So, as the sun breaks the horizon, say this to yourself: today, I release all fear. I walk in faith. I am guided by the unseen hand of divine order. Nothing and no one can disturb my peace. I am calm. I am confident. I am certain. Say it with conviction, because your words are not mere sounds, they are spiritual commands. Every thought you repeat is a prayer. Every affirmation a declaration to the universe. The laws of life do not respond to wishful thinking. They respond to definite intention. Speak, therefore, with power. For when you speak, you create. Detachment is the greatest secret of manifestation. You do not beg for what is already yours. You simply align yourself with it. The man who clings to his desires chases them away. But the man who releases, attracts. Detachment is not weakness. It is supreme confidence. It says, I do not need this to complete me. I am already whole. When you live from that wholeness, miracles begin, because the universe rushes to confirm the vibration of peace. Each morning, your task is not to change the world, but to tune yourself to its divine rhythm. Before you face your work, your family, your trials, face yourself. Stand before your mirror, look deeply into your eyes, and remind your soul, I am the master of my emotions. I choose peace over panic, faith over fear, purpose over pleasure. I command this day to serve my highest good. And it will. For every word spoken in faith plants an unseen seed in the soil of time. You may not see its roots, but they are forming beneath the surface. The man who learns to trust the unseen becomes unstoppable. Emotional detachment is not coldness, it is spiritual control. It is the mark of those who have conquered the battlefield of the mind. When others react, you remain composed. When others panic, you remain guided. When others chase approval, you walk alone, knowing that your approval comes from the source that created you. Say this each morning and watch what unfolds. I release all that is not mine. I receive all that belongs to me by divine right. I expect good, and good finds me. I walk in faith, not by sight. Do this for 30 days, not mechanically, but with awareness, and you will witness what most call miracles. Doors will open. People will appear. Paths will unfold, not by force, but by flow. Because when you stop fighting for control, you make room for the higher order to take over. Remember this: peace is not found in the absence of problems. Peace is found in the presence of faith. And faith, when spoken each morning, becomes a magnet for divine order. So begin your day with authority. Command your mind, for it will obey you. Each sunrise whispers the same truth. You are the author of your day. If you speak chaos, chaos will follow. If you speak life, life will obey. Choose your words as if they were sacred tools, because they are. And when you master this, when you rise each day in peace, detached from outcomes, but anchored in faith, the universe will bend itself to your belief. Then you will understand that miracles were never accidents. They were answers to the words you dared to speak in the silence of your mornings. The mind is the architect of every experience, yet few ever take time to cleanse it. Each morning, before the world places its fingerprints upon your thoughts, you are handed a clean slate, an unshaped field of potential. But what do most people do? They awaken with yesterday's fears, old arguments and hidden doubts, still echoing in their minds. They rise already burdened by memories that no longer serve them. To begin your day in such a state is to poison the soil before planting the seed. The mind must be purified daily. This is not an act of weakness, but of divine discipline, a conscious decision to release the noise and begin again. Every thought you carry forward becomes the foundation for the next one. If the mind is filled with clutter, worry, envy, resentment, there is no room for creation. Renewal of thought is not a suggestion. It is a commandment for those who wish to live consciously. In those first quiet moments after waking, you must take authority over your mental state. Sit in silence, breathe deeply, and observe what thoughts try to intrude. Do not argue with them. Do not entertain them. Simply let them pass like clouds drifting through the morning sky. When you cleanse the mind each morning, you align yourself with the higher currents of inspiration and purpose. You prepare your consciousness to receive divine instruction. This practice transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. Suddenly, ideas flow where confusion once reigned. Peace replaces anxiety. Direction replaces doubt. The one who renews his mind daily never walks into the world unarmed, for his thoughts become his shield, his vision, his unseen advantage. It is through mental purification that true strength and clarity are born. Detachment is one of the highest forms of inner mastery. It does not mean that you stop caring or that you no longer desire. It means you no longer cling. The moment you attach your peace to an outcome, you hand over your power. You begin to beg the universe for what it is already trying to deliver. Detachment is the silent confidence that what belongs to you cannot be taken, and what does not belong to you cannot stay. It is not a surrender of will, but a surrender of struggle. When you detach, you move from chasing to attracting. You no longer command life through desperation. You invite it through certainty. Most people believe control brings security, yet the opposite is true. Control is the mask of fear. The man who cannot let go does not trust the divine order at work within his life. But the one who detaches stands in peace because he knows his role is to act, not to obsess. Once you have done your part, once you have planted your seed, your duty is complete. The rest belongs to forces beyond sight. And those forces respond not to tension, but to trust. When you detach from outcomes, you release the vibration of need and step into the energy of abundance. You stop saying, "I must have this," and begin to declare, "If it is meant for me, it is already mine." That simple shift unlocks the miraculous. People and opportunities begin to appear because your energy is now magnetic, not resistant. Detachment is power wrapped in peace. It frees your emotions, sharpens your judgment, and restores your faith. To master it is to align with divine intelligence, moving through life without fear, because you finally understand that nothing real can ever be lost. Faith is the invisible bridge that connects desire to manifestation. It is not born in the mind, but in the spirit. The mind doubts, but the spirit knows. Faith is that quiet certainty that whispers, "It is already done," even when nothing in the physical world supports it. It does not wait for evidence. It creates the evidence. To have faith is to hold a vision so firmly that the unseen must become seen. You do not plead with life, you declare what must be, and life adjusts itself to your declaration. True faith is never desperate. It does not tremble. It does not beg. It stands rooted like a mountain in the middle of a storm, unmoved by appearances. Many confuse hope with faith, but hope waits while faith acts. Hope looks for a sign, while faith is the sign. When you walk by faith, you understand that everything is already moving in your favor, even when it looks otherwise. You stop asking if it will happen and begin to live as though it already has. Faith is the foundation upon which every miracle rests. When you align your thoughts with belief instead of doubt, you open the door to the invisible power that shapes all creation. The universe is obedient to conviction, not confusion. It listens to the tone of your spirit, not the noise of your fear. And when your inner tone declares certainty, circumstances rearrange themselves to mirror that conviction. Faith is not merely a feeling. It is a decision, a disciplined choice to trust the unseen law that governs all life. Every morning you strengthen that faith by speaking as though the promise is fulfilled. The stronger your faith, the faster the invisible becomes visible, and the ordinary becomes miraculous. Gratitude is the sacred language of abundance. It is not something you express after receiving. It is the force that brings the receiving into being. When you give thanks before the harvest, you acknowledge that the harvest already exists in the unseen. Gratitude declares to the universe, I already have. And that declaration multiplies everything in your life that mirrors it. Most people wait until life gives them a reason to be thankful. But those who understand divine law begin with gratitude, and life then rushes to match their vibration. To live in gratitude is to walk in alignment with higher intelligence. It is the refusal to complain, even in difficulty, because you know every trial carries a hidden blessing. Gratitude transforms perception. It allows you to see abundance where others see lack, progress where others see delay. It shifts the entire field of your energy from wanting to having, from fear to trust. The grateful heart never attracts chaos because it is already full. It cannot be manipulated because it already feels complete. Each morning when you awaken, the simple act of saying thank you for this new day, for the breath in my lungs, for the chance to begin again, opens invisible doors. You start to notice how guided, protected, and supported you truly are. Gratitude tunes your spirit to the frequency of miracles. It tells the universe you are ready to receive without desperation, to live without fear. The one who practices gratitude daily becomes magnetic. People feel peace in their presence, opportunities flow toward them, and life unfolds with grace. Gratitude is not emotion alone. It is spiritual power in motion. It turns every ordinary moment into divine evidence that you are already living in the overflow of what you once desired. Emotion is the raw material of creation. Every thought that carries feeling becomes alive and begins to take form in the unseen. You may speak powerful words, but if they lack emotion, they have no magnetism. The universe responds not to your words alone, but to the vibration behind them. When you feel lack, you attract more of it. When you feel gratitude, you multiply blessings. Emotion is the current that gives life to thought. It is the spark that ignites creation. To master your emotions is to take command of your creative power. Most people allow their emotions to rule them. They are carried away by anger, fear, jealousy, and doubt, unaware that each of these feelings shapes the world around them. A man who cannot control his emotions cannot control his destiny. True mastery begins when you stop reacting to life and begin directing your emotional energy with intention. Instead of allowing circumstances to dictate how you feel, you choose emotions that match the life you desire. You begin to feel peace before peace arrives, joy before success appears, love before it is returned. When you align emotion with purpose, miracles unfold effortlessly. The secret is not to suppress feeling, but to guide it. Each morning, decide how you will feel, regardless of what happens. Anchor your emotions in faith and watch how the external world rearranges itself to reflect your inner state. The power that builds empires, heals bodies, and transforms circumstances is not found in logic alone, but in the heart's vibration. Emotion, when purified and directed, becomes divine energy. The moment you understand that your feelings are creative commands, you stop living as a victim of emotion and start living as a conscious creator of your own reality. Silence is the hidden chamber where power is restored and vision is born. In the stillness of the morning, before the noise of the world reaches your ears, you meet the voice of divine wisdom. Most people fear silence because it confronts them with themselves. But those who understand its secret know that silence is not emptiness, it is fullness. It is the space where divine ideas take shape, where confusion dissolves, and where truth whispers its guidance. In silence, the restless mind is tamed, and the heart becomes a receiver of higher instruction. Every great creation begins in stillness. The ocean must be calm for you to see your reflection clearly, and the mind is no different. When you stop talking, planning, and striving for a moment, a greater intelligence begins to speak within you. It is not loud or demanding, it is subtle, like a soft current moving beneath the surface. That current carries direction, insight, and strength. The man who sits in silence each morning learns to act with clarity rather than chaos. He begins to trust his intuition because it becomes familiar to him, like a compass always pointing toward truth. Silence also refines energy. It collects the scattered fragments of your attention and returns them to your center. The world spends its power through noise, but the wise recharge theirs through quiet. When you learn to rest in stillness, your presence itself becomes commanding, because it carries the weight of ancient power. This is why those who master silence rarely need to argue or prove anything. Their energy speaks louder than words. Every morning spent in silence is a meeting with your own divine mind, and from that meeting, new strength, peace, and purpose are born. Every morning carries the potential to rewrite the course of your entire life, and the words you speak at dawn determine the rhythm of your day. When you speak life, you create it. Words are not mere sounds. They are spiritual vibrations that set unseen forces in motion. Each syllable you utter carries energy. It either builds or destroys, heals or harms, opens doors or closes them. To speak life every morning is to take control of your reality before the world can shape it for you. You become the commander of your day rather than its victim. The mind believes what the tongue repeats. When you declare strength, you awaken it within yourself. When you speak abundance, your consciousness begins to align with the vibration of prosperity. But when you complain or doubt, you curse your own soil before the seed can sprout. The secret lies in deliberate speech, words chosen with faith, not fear. Speak as if the promise has already been fulfilled. Say, I am guided, I am capable, I am favored, not because it flatters the ego, but because it awakens the truth of who you are. Morning declarations are sacred rituals. They are spiritual commands to your subconscious mind, telling it what to create throughout the day. When repeated with emotion and conviction, they rewire thought patterns, shift perception, and magnetize reality. Even when life feels uncertain, keep speaking life. Your words will precede your miracles. What you say consistently becomes what you experience repeatedly. Speak light into your darkness, faith into your fear, order into your confusion. Do it not as wishful thinking, but as divine authority. For your words are the tools by which unseen things become seen, and every morning is your opportunity to create a world worthy of your vision. Every sunrise is an invitation, a divine reminder that you have been given another chance to command your world into order. The moment you awaken, the universe listens for your voice. Will you speak from fear, or will you speak from faith? Will you repeat the noise of the world, or declare the truth of your spirit? Each morning is sacred because it is your opportunity to choose creation over chaos, peace over panic, and purpose over distraction. Do not begin your day as a servant to circumstance. Begin it as a master of consciousness. Stand before your mirror and speak powerfully, not timidly. For your words are not wishes, they are laws. When you say, "Today I walk in faith, I am calm, I am guided," the unseen forces of life begin to organize themselves around those declarations. The world bends to those who speak with conviction. The man who commands his morning commands his destiny. The woman who speaks life into her day becomes unstoppable. Miracles do not happen by chance. They respond to alignment, and alignment begins the moment you take responsibility for your inner state. When you master that sacred hour between sleep and action, you align your will with divine will, and from that place, everything becomes possible. So tomorrow morning, before the world interrupts, before doubt whispers, before fear awakens, speak life. Declare your peace. Affirm your power. Thank the unseen for what is already on its way. Then walk through your day knowing this truth. Miracles do not begin when life changes. They begin when you do. Your words are your wand, your faith is your foundation, and your morning, that quiet hour of command, is the birthplace of every miracle that will ever find you.